That reminded me of a conversation that I had recently with Dave. Dave asked me, "What does Christmas mean to you?" That reminded me of a conversation that I had recently with Dave. You don't know Dave, do you? I'll introduce you sometime. He's a cool guy. Dave and I play squash once a week, and after we finish the game, we usually sit down, have like Coke or Pepsi or something, and just talk about things. He's a photographer as well. So this time I asked him if he's going to take a break over Christmas. And instead of answering me, he asked me, "Do you celebrate Christmas?" Usually I tell people that I don't, but actually, if I think about it, I do, because I buy gifts for my friends. They give me cards and gifts themselves. Sometimes when I'm working, I decorate my desk at work. So yeah, I do kind of celebrate Christmas. So Dave asked me, "What does Christmas mean to you?" Because he knows that I'm from India, I was born Hindu. I told him a story that I also posted on my blog a couple of years ago. This was back when I used to work in Leeds. And one afternoon, I needed something to buy from Boots. So I went over during my lunchtime. And if you know Leeds, you would know it's got a really, really huge shopping mall called Trinity. And there's a big Boots store there. I don't remember exactly what I needed to buy, but it was something like a shaver or electric toothbrush, something very small and not urgent. There's a reason I'm telling you this. So as I got inside, as I'm walking by the cash counter, I'm seeing there's people queued up. I'm walking inside and there's more people. And ultimately I decided, wow, this is a long queue. I did not have that much time to spend on my lunch hour to waste there. So I decided to go out and come back another time. And this explains why I could, because I didn't need anything urgent. And as I turned around, in front of me, there was this stock girl with a big metal cage that they use for taking things from different parts of the store to another parts. And I could see that with the queue on my left and the aisles on the right, she could not pass me with that big metal cage. So, being the gentleman that I am, I moved out of her way and back into the aisles. And she passed in front of me, but as she was passing me, the guy across from me, who was standing in the queue for the cashier with some couple of items in his hands, he spoke to her. And I didn't get all his words, and I still don't remember what he said, but it was something, I got the general purport of what he was saying. He said something like, "Oh, you can't open another counter," or something like, "Oh, I'm supposed to stand here all day," something like that. And his tone was so caustic, so bitter. As I was leaving the store, I looked back, and the girl, she was almost in tears. And I am thinking, this jackhole comes to the busiest part of the city, in the busiest time of the year, and busiest time of the day during lunch hour. And then he is taking his frustration out on some poor girl who, first of all, didn't cause his problem, and second of all, cannot solve his problem. And he's having to wait for like 15 more minutes for something. Like if he's buying something like a 500-pound gift for his wife, or let's say a 1,000-pound gift for a client of his, does it make him a good person? I don't think so. So I told Dave, Christmas to me is kindness. Dave shared a story of his own where he's like, I'm not very religious, but for me, being religious means being a good person. It was kind of a longer story, but I think Dave can put it in his vlog when he starts one. But then when Dave finds a nice topic, he doesn't let it go. So he said, like, how was Christmas in India when you were growing up? Did you celebrate Christmas then? And I told him that these days there's a lot of communication because the internet, there's a lot of awareness between cultures. But when I was in school, it wasn't so. So I used to know about Christmas because it was in our school books, it was in our textbooks. But in my family or outside, not a lot of people knew. So on Christmas Day, I used to tell my mom like, "Oh, it's Christmas today," and she was like, "What's Christmas?" So I would explain to her, and then her answer would be, "Okay, I'll make something sweet." And that was my mom's answer for pretty much everything. All the celebrations, I'll make something sweet. So if it was my birthday, I'll make something sweet. So that's how we used to celebrate Christmas. But I do remember another story which is not Christmas, but about my mom. My friend Fazil, he's Muslim. And he's my best friend in the whole world. And he used to come over a lot of times. And sometimes he would stay overnight, sometimes he would come just for a few minutes to see me. And one time he came over and he was going to stay overnight. But it was the month of Ramzan. They call it Ramadan here. I have no idea why. And Ramzan means the 30 days of fast, which are called Roza. And those are really difficult fasts. It goes from sunrise to sundown, and during that you can't even drink a drop of water. It can be really hard. So because of that, it's very important to have the beginning meal of the day, which is called the Sehri. It comes from the word Seher, means morning, or Iftar, which is in the evening after the sun is down. So in the morning, you usually get up about like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then have something before the sun comes up. So that time he came over, and before we went up to my room, he said like, "Oh, just remind me, I have to leave early in the morning because I've got to have Sehri at home." And Mama said, "Oh, it's okay, I'll make you something." He said, no, it's all right," because he didn't want to bother her. And my mom has this principle that if you're leaving the house anytime in the morning, you tell her beforehand, previous night, and no matter how early it is, food will be ready. And she never failed that, never ever. So next morning, Fazil wakes me up to, just lock the door because I'm leaving now. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. And when I go downstairs with him to lock the door behind him, my mom is not only up, she's got food ready for him to eat. And do you know what that means? That means that she got up about an hour and a half earlier, took a bath, because she would never touch anything in the kitchen until she's taken a bath, cleaned the kitchen, and then cooked food for him ready. So I know it's not a Christmas story, but Christmas or any religion, I think, is about kindness. It's about how you treat other people, how you treat your fellow human beings. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for watching.